Hey there, lovely people. Welcome to Be Your Best You with Tash and Becky, your go-to hangout for all things spiritual, subconscious, and downright magical. We're here to sprinkle a little mystical wisdom into your everyday life and help you level up your reality.
Picture this as your cosmic coffee date, where we chat about the unseen world, blend in some psychology vibes and stir up the subconscious magic. Get ready to be the queen of your own reality, live a life that lights you up and have a blast doing it.
So grab your latte or your tea and let's dive into another episode of Be Your Best You, where the mystical meets the mundane and your best life awaits.
Cheers to creating magic together.
Let's do this. Welcome back to another episode of Be Your Best You with Tash
and Becky.
So happy to have you here again today. Okay, so today we have a spooky episode. Well, we do. It's kind of spooky, isn't it?
It is.
We have a spooky episode for you. Everybody loves a ghost story. Are we right? We love it.
I love a ghost story.
I love a ghost story. And even when I was terrified of ghosts, I still love a ghost story. Now we're not so terrified. And this is one of the reasons actually why we wanted to do this podcast. So we are going to be talking about our ghostly experiences that have happened. And they haven't, and these ones we spoke about before, the our childhood ones. These ones are from kind of adult age and they're not as nice as maybe the other ones were, are they? Especially my ones. They weren't very friendly. They weren't very friendly encounters. However, there's a reason that we want to share them. One, because it's interesting and you want to hear them. You want to hear that it's fun to listen to. But secondly, we want to use it to show you how we kind of got over our fear of these experiences and just the fear in general of being scared of ghosts and the unseen world and the energies that we didn't know that we were feeling or whatever.
That's a real block, I would imagine, when you're the fear.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, again, remember for you had a massive fear about that, didn't you? That you didn't want to let anything in. And then once you started doing that, you can embrace the good things that come from the unseen world as well as the bad things. Because there's always a balance, isn't there? This is the thing. And I think if you don't let yourself experience the bad stuff, or at least acknowledge that it's there, then you can't let in all the good stuff too.
True.
But there are ways and things that you can do that we have learned that we now employ as protection.
Yeah.
And more importantly, because protection sounds like a bit of a scary word, doesn't it? It's like when you say protection, it's like you've got to think there's something really awful to be scared of. Yeah. And it's not about that. It's just about empowering yourself, giving yourself control to be able to take control of the situation so that you don't have to be scared and live in fear.
Yeah.
Going to bed at night in the dark.
It can just be an energy, can't it? So you could just literally be laying in bed having one of those nights where you just feel some kind of not nice energy and you're scared.
Yeah.
And this is a way, we can talk about getting rid of that nasty energy that you might be feeling so you can get back to sleep.
Exactly. Because I can't tell you the amount of nights that I spent wide awake with all my hands and feet inside the covers burning up. So, my eyes darting around the room, not watching Crispy asleep next to me, thinking, God, just go to sleep. So many nights. And as soon as I learned the things that I learned, it's just completely different. I just turn over with my feet out of the covers and feel really calm and peaceful in myself as well. And it's so funny, isn't it? Because actually, I know we both did, didn't we? Spent our whole lives telling ourselves that ghosts and this kind of negative part of the unseen world aren't real. And yet, deep down, the reason I was scared is because I knew that it was real. And though consciously, I would have said to you when I was blue in the face, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real. That was my mantra. This is not real, there's nothing there. Ghosts aren't real, there's nothing unseen, it's not there. Because it's the only way I could let myself go to sleep at night. Yeah. But the ironic thing is when I actually faced the fact and addressed that it was real and would accept that it was real and that there is kind of the darker stuff as well as the lighter stuff, that allowed me to release my fear.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I faced it that I was then able to release it and feel comfortable and safe.
That's right, because once you look into it, you can understand it better, whereas you're just shutting it down, aren't you? Saying it's not real, just go to sleep. You're not ever understanding how it all works. And then when you start listening to things and reading things, you think, oh, it's not scary. There is a way to control all of this that's going on. And then once you drop the fear, you can let more good stuff in, can't you? So then get rid of that block.
And I think the most important thing is that it is about when you're scared and you're just saying it's not real, it's not real. It's really disempowering, isn't it? Because you're kind of still leaving yourself at the mercy to these feelings. Whereas when you can say, and it's the same as what we talk about with the, acknowledging your emotions and facing how you're feeling and dealing with it rather than suppressing it and pushing it away. It's the exact same thing when you face the fact that, okay, this darker energy is there and what I'm feeling is real, and that's okay because I'm actually in control of it. There are things that I can do to stop myself from feeling the way I'm feeling. You're empowered again. And then you take control of the situation and you feel better. You can move on. And anyway, so this is what we want this episode to do. It's like a bit of fun, but with a serious kind of message underlying in the background. And I think this will be especially helpful for anybody listening who is aware that they are sensitive to energy, and that they do feel things, dark and negative things that are there. Like they're totally aware of that, but they just don't really know how to control it, and it's kind of taken over their lives. I know a lot of clients that I've worked with, as an aside, they would mention these things, and by sharing what I'm going to share today, it's helped them go from not being able to sleep at all and being terrified at night, being woken up by things and seeing things in their bedroom, petrified, to having a gorgeous night's sleep where they're not bothered and they're not, scared at all.
Wow.
So that's definitely going to be helpful for people like that. But it also will be helpful for people who maybe aren't necessarily aware that they are sensitive to energy, and yet they still go to bed and they think, I don't know why, but it doesn't feel good in this bedroom tonight. I feel off. It feels horrible. I'm a bit scared. So one, you are sensitive to energy. You just don't realise it. But this could really help you in those times. Even if you don't think that what you're picking up on is negative energy, ghosts, whatever it is. Even if you don't believe that it's that, even so, if you use these, protection things that we're going to be telling you about, these tools and techniques, you will find that you feel calmer, that you're able to control yourself and you're able to let go of that feeling and and go to sleep and not be scared. And also this is going to be helpful for those of you who are just interested in ghosty stories and hearing stories like that, because that's fun too.
It is fun.
Right, so should we start off with the first?
Yes, so Tash has a lot of stories. She's very in tune.
Unfortunately for me. Okay, so should I start off with the paralysis one?
Yes, because that's what came first.
Yeah. Okay, so when I was about 17, 18, I had an experience, and I think it's happened a few times where I had the sleep paralysis, but this one particularly stands out in my mind because it was particularly horrific and lasted a long time, and was very visceral. So first of all, have any of you guys experienced sleep paralysis?
I haven't.
You haven't? No. I know a lot of people have. So we'd love to hear.
Yes, please.
If you have experienced sleep paralysis, hop on over to our Facebook group. Come join our community. The link's in the show notes. And let us know. And if you've experienced sleep paralysis, if you can remember when it happened, did you see anything? Or were you aware of an entity that was dark? Just kind of very dark, very scary, very menacing, wearing a top hat. Some of you may have heard of the top hat man. I think that's what it's called.
Yes,
if you Google it, it's a real thing. It really is. It's everywhere. This guy, this man who comes in your dreams when you're like half asleep, half awake, and you get paralysis.
It's got to be something, hasn't it? That if everyone is describing him in the same way.
Well, so going back to my experience, I was about 17, and I was sleeping on the floor because of my back. So I always used to sleep on the floor. And I had our little dog Billy. Remember Billy?
Oh, I know.
Had Billy. A little dog, yeah. Had our little dog Billy. That shows you how old Billy was, because I was 17 and you've met Billy. So he used to sleep next to me, and I was on the floor. And anyway, I woke up in the middle of the night. And now I can see this so clearly. I remember everything. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I became aware very, very quickly that my whole body was paralyzed. I couldn't move. All I could move was my eyes. That's and then, you know, at first, like you come to, and you don't really know what's going on.
No.
But very, very quickly, it woke me up because I was like, oh my God, I can't move. My whole body, I can't move. At the same time, because everything happens so quickly, at exactly the same time as I was realising all of this, I had this wave of terror, is all I can explain it as, of darkness, of hopelessness. It's like, do you know what it reminds me of? If anyone's seen Harry Potter, when the Dementors come, and like, you know, as they come over, it like sucks everything out of the air, everything that is good, all the light out of the air, and it's just like horribleness. That is what it felt like. It was just awful. It was one of the most awful feelings. I only felt that then, and then in another time when I was in the Lake District with Soph, and I felt that same terror, that same feeling. Anyway, so I felt this come over me, and it was horrible. And again, I was awake. This isn't me having a dream and being I was awake because I was so scared. And I remember moving my eyes, and I could see Billy sat next to me thinking, why? Wake up, help me.
Was Billy just
help
asleep?
Me. He was just asleep there. And I was like, oh my God. And then at the end of where my feet were, all of a sudden, and I can't tell you, it's really confusing because I can't tell you whether I saw it with my visual eyes or in my mind's eye. Maybe it was a bit of both. I really can't, it's really hard to decipher. This black silhouette with a black top hat on. Now, I couldn't see features. It was a black silhouette, but it was obvious that it was a manly figure, masculine figure with this hat on. And he was standing at the foot of my feet, and I couldn't move. And I was like, oh my God, wake up, move, do something. And I felt like I couldn't move my body, but then I also felt like as he was standing there, this terror was getting worse. And I was having this really heavy feeling, this like weight pushing down on my body, almost like it was pushing me into the floor. It was really, really visceral. It was horrible. And like I said, all I just thought was, this is just the worst, the most terrifying, horrible feeling I could ever. And it felt like it went on for ages. It felt like it went on for ages. I really don't know how long. I couldn't tell you how long it was. And I don't remember how I got out of it. I think I remember I was just like, move your leg. I was really trying to focus on moving a limb, like, you know, just move anything to get out of this, and I couldn't. That was adding to the terror. And because
could you call out?
No.
Did you try?
No, I couldn't do anything. I was like frozen. It was literally like just my eyes could move, but I could feel everything. And I think eventually I managed to, it was almost like I went like that, and this weight kind of lifted off me, and then I was able to move, and that the figure disappeared. And you know, again, I don't know, I can't tell you how I got out of it. I can't tell you why it ended, but I do remember that kind of like as it went. And I've never forgotten. Again, I didn't tell anyone this. I've never told, you know, until I probably told you. I don't think I ever told anyone that, but it stayed with me forever. And it wasn't until I actually got into all of this stuff that I heard someone say the top hat man once, just casually, you know, well, you know, the top hat man. I was like, what? The top hat man? What? And then it explained this sleep paralysis and how it was this exact same
so you
experience
hadn't
for everyone.
heard of him?
Never heard of it.
When you had it?
No. I just thought it was me being weird. You know, having my weird experiences because I'm weird, you know. And then when I heard that other people, this is like a real thing, and other people had the same type of experience. Some people saw him more clearly than me.
Right.
But the whole concept of what happened was happening to loads of people. Google it. Go and have a look at the Top Hat Man. Yeah.
I have heard about him.
Yeah. And
that's terrifying.
You know, because again, like back then I tried to explain it away. Well, sleep paralysis, scientifically, it's when you're in the middle of your sleep states and you can't, you know, your body hasn't quite realised you've awoken. Yeah. Your mind is awake, but your body's not. Yeah. That's a load of bullshit. Yeah. Sorry, but like that, again, I tried to, that's what I told myself as well, by the way. With my scientific mind, always trying to rationalize things, because again, I didn't want to believe that was real.
No,
so I just told.
Why would you?
But again, it was like, this is why, really, even though I tried to tell myself things weren't real, how could I believe that when I was having these experiences? And know, again, other people, it's so easy for other people to just say, you know, dismiss you and say, well, you know, you were probably dreaming. You probably weren't awake. When you experience it, you know full well you're wide awake. You know it's not a dream. You know that you wish it was a dream. You but it was just too real, and you know, and you can't let that go.
No. Especially when you hear other people then saying they've seen the same thing.
Exactly. So not to scare you guys, but there is a guy going around out there, the Top Hat guy.
You should tell me that
really
story.
But again, I'm telling you these stories because I think it's really important to acknowledge that this stuff is out there. Yeah. Because then you can so I was terrified then. Totally terrified, totally out of control, had no idea how to get myself out of it, and just fortunately somehow I managed to slip out of it. Yeah. Okay. But I'm telling you this because there are ways, like now if that happened to me, I've got a whole list of things, and the first thing that's coming to my mind is I know what I would do if that happened now, and I won't say it here, but you know what I would do. Yeah. It's not appropriate to say here. But yeah, I have a whole list of tools now. Yeah. And although, don't get me wrong, it would still be scary. I know those feelings would still come over me and feel the same. I wouldn't have to stay in it because I know what to do to take control, which we will talk about later. Yeah. Okay, so that was my earliest horrible one that I can really remember. Then it's kind of quiet, and then I had a horrible experience very similar to that in the Lake District, in my husband's granddad's old house loft room. No, actually it wasn't. Yes, it was the loft room. Yeah, 3rd story, old Victorian house. My God. It's like the thing of, if you could...
Oh, God.
Yeah, if you could come up with a house that was going to be haunted, it would be that one. Oh, yeah. Like, he used to have the mirrors covered with cloths.
Oh, my God. I mean, I'd be out of there.
And still I was like, I'm fine. It's all good. And I was sleeping in there with Soph, with our daughter, and she was probably she must have probably been about 2 or 3 at the time. She'd just started talking. Yeah. She was able to communicate. Yeah. But not properly. And I won't go into this one loads, but it was a very similar feeling that came over me. I couldn't see anything at the time, at first. But then my 2.5-year-old daughter said, Mummy, there's a dark man come in the room.
Oh my God.
As I was having the feeling. So I was feeling it. Yeah. And she was bloody seeing what I was feeling. Yeah. Which terrified me. There's nothing worse than a child telling you that they can see something come in the room. Yeah. And she was terrified. She was crying. She was like writhing around, trying to like get in me because
to get away.
Yeah. And I was feeling, although I couldn't at first see anything, I was feeling that same feeling of terror. And I was thinking,
and all you could do was lay there.
Yeah. I was laying there, and obviously I had Soph, so I was in mummy protective mode. At the same time, I was pooing myself. And she was scared. I wanted to tell her to shut up. She was like, you're scaring me, child. Stop it. But I couldn't. And she was going on and on about, oh my God, Mummy, there's this man. He's coming closer to us. He's coming closer to us. It's just stuff for nightmares, honestly. And then I started, and again, this one wasn't in my visual eyes. I was very aware that it was in my mind's eye, but it was this very like dark figure, not the Top Hat Man, but a very dark, shadowy figure, felt a bit monstery, demon-y like, is all I can say I about that. That's what I saw when I was getting these feelings, and she was obviously seeing it.
Yeah.
And then it was really weird. And again, this is the kind of stuff that made me think there's something got to be real. As much as I didn't want to, there's something real here, because as I felt the feeling kind of slip away a little bit, ease up, at the exact time I felt it ease up, she said, "Oh, mummy, he's going into Charlie and Daddy's room. He's going out of the door into Charlie and Daddy's room." So that scared me even more, because then I was like, oh my God, because I felt that it was going.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I know I need to check on Charlie and Chris. What's it going to do to Charlie and Chris? God. And it reminded me, so I get out of bed. I said, Sophia, stay there. I got out of bed to go and check on them. And as I was walking to their room, I was thinking, this is like those stupid people in horror movies when you're like, don't walk towards it. Why would you do that? Why would you go up towards the roof?
Don't leave your daughter.
Exactly. And as I was doing it, I was thinking, what are you doing? Anyway, I went in and I was like creeping out into their bedroom, and they were both just sound asleep, like nothing.
And you couldn't feel
I couldn't feel it in there. And I just thought, well, they're safe, they're okay. And they came back into the bed. And then Sos was like, it's gone now, mummy. And turned over and went back to sleep. And I'm there like this, lying in bed, like, I hate this house, get me out of here, I want to go home.
Was that your last night there?
Yes, it was,
Thank
fortunately.
God.
It's always when these things happen, it's always the last night. Again, though, I was totally out of control. I was terrified. I was at the mercy of the experience. Yeah. And I just had to kind of deal with it, see it through. And then even when it had ended, I was awake, terrified all night after that. And then scared to go to sleep the subsequent nights as well. This is the problem, isn't it? So that was one that was very similar feeling in terms of horrible. Let me tell you the San Francisco one. Because this is a slightly different one. Yeah. This was my 30... When were we? Well, it was my 30th. Oh. So we went over to California for my 30th birthday. Yeah. And we stayed in this big Victorian, like, Mrs. Doubtfire house. Yeah. We stayed in one of those houses. Wow. It was an Airbnb. Yeah. In this area in San Francisco called Haight-Ashbury. We didn't know anything about this area. No. When we told the people who our friends are over in California, we said we're staying in Haight-Ashbury, they were like, what? Oh. We were like, what? Oh, no. They're like, no, what? Why? No, why are you staying there? Like, it's a really dodgy area, don't stay there. Oh, no. Anyway, turns out we're staying in a house 2 doors down from Ted Bundy, the serial killer.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes. We didn't know this at the time. Oh, my God. Found us out later. Yeah. So it was actually our friends that we were traveling with. Yeah. Found this house and booked the Airbnb, and she was in communication with him. Yeah. Like, very, very chatty, very friendly. Like, let's get you in, like, answered all the questions. Yeah. So it was all great. Got in the house. Lovely. Went in the front room of this house, and it was like, this room makes me feel very weird. Oh. It was very old. It was set up old, like had old Victorian painting pictures on the wall. All the room was kind of wood, like a wood panelled study type thing. Yeah. It was like that. It was all wood panelled. Yeah. But it was like a parlour. It was really like a Victorian parlour. Right. It was set up in that way. It didn't match the rest of the house, which I felt was really weird, because the rest of the house had kind of been modernised. Yeah. And I think back now, I'm like, what the hell are we doing? When we walked in, it was a house. It was someone's house. Yeah. So the bedroom that we stayed in was a child's bedroom. Right. And it was all just set up as the child's bedroom. As a child's bedroom? Yeah. The bedroom that our kids were staying in was another child's room. Our friends stayed in the parents' room. It looked like someone had just upped and left. And just left everything as it was, and just done a runner. Like, when you let out an Airbnb, I can't even imagine it is literally like if I just said, right now, go on then, move into my house, where all my stuff's still there, like literally clothes, toys, everything. It's like I've just walked out of the house and said, in you go, and say, no, I think that's a bit weird. Anyway. It was really like they just upped and left. And I just thought that's a bit odd. Anyway, we were staying there 3 nights. The first 2 nights, I didn't like this room at the front. No. But, it was just a passing thought. Again, I was obviously picking up on some energy, but I was used to it, didn't know what it was, fine. The third and last night. Yeah. The night of my birthday. It was going to be my birthday in the day when I woke up. Yeah. That was when we were leaving. So, went to bed. Chris and I are sleeping in this little double bed in this kid's room. I wake up in the middle of the night. Don't know why.
No.
And I hear Charles' footsteps going down the hallway. So the hallway was a very, very long hallway. The kids our kids' room that they were staying was at the end of the hallway. We were staying in the bedroom next to them. The toilet was a little bit further down the hallway, right?
Yeah.
So I heard these kids' footsteps that were running running down the hallway. So straight away I just thought, oh, one of the kids. They were younger. They were like, 6 and 3 or something, 6 and 4. Oh, the kids have got up to go to the toilet in the middle of the night. Not unusual. No. Fine. But now I'm awake. Yeah. And again, I want to stress, I know I'm awake. Yeah. Because I am awake. Yeah. Right? I know what I heard, but I heard kids' footsteps and I just thought that's Charlie or Soph. Yeah. So then I'm waiting, and because as a mum, you're listening, aren't you? I want to hear them having a wee. Are they? Can I hear them weeing? No, I can't hear them weeing. That's fine. But I'm just waiting for these little footsteps to come back. Yeah. No footsteps. No. Oh, well, that's weird. They should have been back now. So now I'm worried. So I get up. Yeah. Fully 100% expecting to see one of my children in that bathroom because those footsteps were so loud, so obviously childlike. Yeah. There was no one in the bathroom. Oh, God. And I was like, oh, they must have gone back and I didn't hear them. Yeah. So walked down to their bedroom. Yeah. Fully then expecting one of them to be getting back into their bed. Both sound asleep. Oh my God. Now I'm terrified. Because now I'm like, what was that? I know what I heard. That was children's footsteps. And now I'm terrified. Yeah. So I get back into bed. God. And I get back onto the covers now. And now my eyes are like darting around the room. And I'm thinking, oh my God. And so I have this feeling. I'm like, oh, this kids ghost here. Oh my God.
Oh God.
And then I hear the footsteps running down the hallway again.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh, no, that's not my children because I know I've just checked them. Yeah. And they're sound asleep. So I was like, just calm down. It's okay. And I was just like trying to squeeze into Chris. Yeah. Like get closer to him, might wake him up. That would be great. He woke up. Well, I must have woke him up just dozy from getting so close to him. Yeah. Time's passing on, and then I hear the footsteps come into our bedroom.
Oh my God.
Running. So they got wooden floor, and it's like
I can just imagine the little
bare
noise.
Feet running noise into our bedroom, down at the bottom of the bed. Stopped at the bottom of the bed. Oh. I'm like, oh, for God's sake. And once again, I find myself getting out of bed, crawling down to the end to peer over at the end of the bed. And as I'm doing it, I'm thinking,
shouting no to, don't do it.
Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? But I was like I have to see. I have to. Yeah. It's got to be one of my kids. They're messing around. I need to see that I need to prove that it's them. Yeah. Look down, nothing there. And I was just like, then Chris said, Chris, did you hear that? Yeah. And he said, yes.
Oh, that is nice if someone else hears
it was quite nice that he heard it. He was like, yeah, I did hear that. Oh, God, for God's sake, I said, there's no one there. I said, Chris, I heard it in the hallway as well, and I thought it was the kids, but it's not. I'm so scared. He knows I'm terrified of child ghosts as well. But he was a little bit freaked out because he was like, I heard that. I'm sure. So anyway, I spent the rest of the night laying there. He managed to get back to sleep kind of, I think, although he had a restless night. Yeah. But I was very aware, and again, I couldn't see anything, but I was very aware there was this point over by the door where there was some kids' toys. Right. And I felt like there was two children playing with these toys. But I have to say, this is why I wanted to share this story as well. Yeah. This was a very different feeling from that terror, from the darkness that I felt in those other two stories. Yeah. I very clearly saw in my mind's eye the first one might have been with my real eyes, I don't know. But it was these dark figures. It was this feeling of absolute terror and hopelessness flooding over me. With this experience, these were children, and I felt like they were little children, but I also didn't have that horrible feeling. I was scared because I was like, this is scary. It's ghosts. But it wasn't. There was not that. Do you know what I mean when I say
you
that?
weren't feeling that from them. That wasn't their energy.
No.
Theirs was just playful.
It was really playful.
It
was like I could hear them giggling.
Yeah.
And in the end, I do remember what I did with this one. And now, again, this was totally like my intuition coming through, because I didn't know anything about this. I was still trying to tell myself that it all wasn't real, although I really couldn't convince myself out of this one.
No.
I think that was what the first thing that made me think, this is real.
Yeah.
Like, I can't convince myself. I've been trying and I can't convince myself out of this one.
You've had too many experiences.
Yeah. And I started speaking to them in my mind, and I was like, do you want anything? Like, do you need me? But I thought, I can't do anything, but I'm not. Yeah. And I think it must have been that difference of that I didn't feel that the energy that I felt, the emotion that I felt was playful. Yeah. And it was friendly. Yeah. And it enabled me to just go, can I help you? Do you need something from me? Why are you here? Wow. And I didn't get any answer. I don't know. But it made me feel better, like talking to them. Yeah. It gave me a bit more control, I suppose. Yeah. And eventually it faded off, and I felt like they had just gone. And I didn't sleep that night either. No. But then we woke up the next morning and obviously said about this scenario. And my friend who was there was breastfeeding at the time, and she had woken up at the exact time, and she said, I didn't hear any footsteps. She said, but and she knew what the time was, because she was obviously looking at the time because of when she was feeding her baby. She was keeping track. I looked at the time because I was awake, and I was thinking, oh my God, it's 3:00 in the morning. Yeah. I've got to spend the whole night. Oh. And at the exact same time that I was hearing the footsteps, she said, it was so weird. I was sat there and I felt this kind of like wave of something go through my body. I don't know what it was, but it felt really weird at the exact same time. Whoa. So she had picked up on it as well. But yeah, that was my California. Oh, and then later we found out that this house was 2 doors down from Ted Bundy's, the serial killer's house. And when I said, message the guy, and the Airbnb guy, I said, message him and say, has he ever had any reports of the house being haunted? Just interested. Yeah. Bear in mind, this guy was full of answering all the questions, did not get back to us. We heard nothing from him. We messaged him a few times and he didn't come back to us. Really? So I reckon they really, truly, that house was massively haunted, and they did a runner. Yeah. Left all their stuff there.
What are we going to do with this house now?
We'll just Airbnb it out. And us plonkers, like relying on people from Britain who don't know about the area to go and like rent it.
I'd love to know what happened there.
I know. I should probably see if it's still on Airbnb. I should see if I can find some pictures and send you pictures. I can get pictures that we took of the outside. I'm not... I wonder if I took a picture of the room. I'll have to have a look through my photos and see the room, the wood-panelled room. Oh my God. I know I've got a picture of the house outside, but anyway, I'll put that on. I'll put that on our Facebook group. Yes, that would be fun, wouldn't it? That would be fun. But yeah, so that was my.
I mean, all those experiences actually are enough to terrify you.
Yeah, it's no wonder I was scared.
When we met and first started talking about this stuff, we were both saying, "Oh my God, we shouldn't be talking about ghost stories. We'll scare ourselves." Mm-hmm. So you know. You were still really scared, weren't you? Even after that wasn't such a scare. It was a scary experience, but it wasn't compared to your others. Yeah,
it was just the feeling. I was still terrified, but it wasn't that visceral kind of. It was almost like an outer. The feeling was always projected onto me. Yeah, that's what it felt like. It's like everything got sucked out of the room. Every happiness, every positive feeling got sucked out, and it was just pure terror. And darkness. Awful. And it was horrible. Awful. And again, didn't feel like that in San Francisco. No. But yeah, but shall we now I've said some of those like not very nice ones. I mean, I've had a few more, but I don't want to go into any of the other ones. They were like the main ones that I think like are important
for the protection
stuff.
That's right.
But should we just say a couple of nicer ones, because there are nice ones as well. As much again, this is about balance, isn't it? It's about accepting that there is darker stuff out there, but there's also light out there, and most importantly, the light will always win. Yeah. And I want to say it now. We will talk about it, but I feel it's like important to be said now. You have absolute and total control and dominion. Yeah, I like that word because it's powerful. You have dominion in this earth plane. Right. I'm going to say it again. Yeah. It's really important.
Say it again.
You have total and utter dominion and control in this earth plane. Yeah. So anything else that comes into near you in your around your energy, no matter whether it's good, bad, light, dark, you are in control.
Right.
And you are the absolute powerful controller here. And if you don't like it, you get to say,
Get
do
out.
one, and they have to listen, whether they're good or bad. You know, because you have to set boundaries with the good ones as well.
Of course, yeah.
But I wanted to say that now, and we will talk about that in a sec. I'm just looking at the time. We've been talking for 34 minutes already.
Wow, yeah.
But say your nice story of Georgie.
Oh yeah, my gran.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a nice story because we think she met her guardian angel. So she was on the bus, and she was very depressed. She'd lost her sister. She got knocked off her bike and killed, and she was so down. And she sat on the bus one day, and this lady came and sat beside her, and just sort of turned to her and said, "It's all going to be okay now." You know, just out of the blue. No conversation, I don't think, just literally just turned to her, said those words, "It's all going to be okay now." And then she got up, got off the bus. And then from that point on, my gran's depression lifted and she started to feel better and better and better. And we just feel like she might have met her guardian angel there to come and give her that reassurance that everything was going to be okay. And she was very in tune, I think, she was told she had special gifts and things. Bit of a funnier story, when she was the night she was told she had special gifts by a fortune teller, she said that this lady said to her that she would get a sign, she would get to tell her that you do have special gifts, and she would see sparks or something like that, sparks, fire, something like that. Anyway, she went home that night and she slept in a bedroom with all her like 5 sisters. So she's tiptoeing around in the dark, takes off her jumper, which is like nylon. Static sparks in the dark. She was terrified, leapt into bed, covered herself up just as like we would have. Totally terrified. So that, you know, that was the sign, wasn't it?
Yes.
Because she would have explained that away then. Oh, well, it was my jumper. It was the static. But yes, it was. But that's what they mean. That's how they could show it to you. Yeah, it's like it doesn't have to be a physical, like, fire and an explosion in front of you and sparks in that sense.
That was sparks.
Yeah.
So clever.
So, like, we think she was so in tune. So for her to meet her guardian angel, we think that was amazing. So that's a nice story, isn't it?
That's
so,
lovely.
like, these angels can come to you. You know, I've never, unfortunately, had anything like that. I did... since we've been going through this and I've dropped the fear, I did have like quite a cool experience, but I was still a little bit afraid because it was an energy as well, like you're talking about. So I'd lost my brother-in-law, and not long after that, probably just a couple of weeks after losing him, I was asleep in bed next to Ian, my husband, and it was an energy again. I could feel that there was someone standing over me as my eyes were closed, but I could feel it. And then like you say, it must have been my mind's eye, I could see this face coming down towards me at the same time that I could feel this energy leaning down over me. And it was Dave, my brother-in-law's, it was his face, but not in how we would look at each other now. It was almost like just like a drawing and a knowing that it was his face coming down towards me. And I think it was like overwhelming because of the energy as well, that it scared me. And I wasn't quite there yet at that stage to be like, "Oh, hi. Hi, Dave. How's it going? What's going on?" I was like, okay, too close. Get back. Thank you very much.
And did he get back?
Yes, he disappeared.
Exactly.
He disappeared. Because by then we knew, didn't we? To be like, if you're scared, you just say no. Obviously, I was more polite to him because it's my brother-in-law. He wasn't so scary because I knew him. But I was like, "Oh no, Dave, I'm scared." And he just went. He just went just like that. But obviously, with the darker entities, yes, you can be more. You need to be like more.
You do need to be more forceful,
and that's a really good thing as well to tell like your kids. I found that really useful with my daughter Nicole because she's like quite in tune with all of that stuff as well, and I don't want her to be scared and shut down like we did. so I've told her what you've told us today, you know, about how you're in control, and you can tell them, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Get out my space. Go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you're not shutting them down, are you?
No.
So you're opening them up to the nice stuff.
Exactly.
You know, and they can't hurt you, can they?
No.
So all they can do is scare you.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And invade your energy and
That's
use
it.
your energy to manipulate you.
Yes.
And but they can't physically hurt you. I mean, I don't know. I've got no experience of, like, say, a poltergeist or something different, isn't it?
Yeah.
What would you say that is?
I mean, because I don't like, we're talking about the negative stuff today, the darker stuff today, because I think it's important, and it happened, but I don't like it, and I don't like to focus on it, because I'm all about the focus. So I actually don't know an awful lot about negative stuff and poltergeists, and I think there probably are things out there that can physically do something to you. I don't choose to even think about it, because I don't want to focus on it, and I think that if you don't focus on it, you know, then it's not in your awareness, you're not drawing it to you, etc. But again, even if that does happen, you still have, go back to it, you have dominion, you have power, you just have to be able to exert it. And it's like when I had that experience with the sleep paralysis and the thing in the Lake District, in my grandfather-in-law's house, I didn't know I had dominion, and I certainly wasn't expressing it.
You're just riding it out.
And so I suppose in that way, things can be done to you, or I don't know what's the purpose of doing it. Like you said, maybe just drawing energy from you, whatever. I don't know what it is, but whatever it was, I was kind of allowing them to do it because I didn't know any different. But now, when I've had certain experiences like that, and it's very few and far between, but when I have had, and I have done the protection stuff, and I know without a doubt that I'm in charge, it just goes like that. It's gone. It really is gone, and they can't do anything to you. Again, it's whether you allow it to be done. You have to know about this protection. I think we should probably just talk about it now, should we? Seeing as you've led on to it. So the most important thing is that you realise that you are in control. And that you're the boss here in this realm. You're the boss. Secondly, it's all energy. Again, let's go back to our first episode. Everything is energy. This is all energetic. It's all based around intention. So you might think, like, to put a bubble of protection around yourself. And by doing that, having an intention to place some form of protection around your energy, whether that looks like up to you a bubble or a cloak or a suit of armor, white light, however you want to imagine it is perfect, and it really doesn't matter. No, it's your intention. Your intention to place protection around your energetic body. Right. That's it. That's protection.
I mean, and that in itself is just so powerful. I know, you know, when you lay in bed at night sometimes and you think, what was that? And then what I do is I then, again, like you're saying with the intention, I visualize like all these angels outside my kids' doors, guarding the room, guarding the bedrooms. So I visualize, you know, Harry's, then Nicole's, and then ours, and then the whole house wrapped up. And by the time I've got to that, I've fallen asleep.
Exactly. And this is the thing. It's all about your intention. It's about the energetics of it. And you have so much more power over this world and yourself than you realise. And it might feel like that's ridiculous and it doesn't work. But trust me, keep doing it and you will see a difference. And this protection, this bubble of protection or cloak of protection or whatever, that isn't just for, like we said, when you're kind of scared from ghosts. You need to put that protection up when you're dealing with other people's energy. Because other people,
that's right,
energy affects your energy, and you don't want to be affected by other people's energies. You've got enough to deal with. You don't need that. So this protection guards you from all of that. You know, if you don't experience ghostly stuff at night, try putting up an energy bubble. In the day, if you're going to see someone that ticks you off or triggers you or sucks your energy, like you're aware that when you come away from them, you feel drained by them. Put a bubble up around you. Have an intention to put a protective shield around you, and see how different
Honestly,
you feel. And when you're in there, and you can draw on it. So like when you're in there and you're having a conversation with them and they're, you know, saying something, then you're like, oh my God, reinforce that bubble.
Yes.
And watch how they don't bother you as much. So that's really, really important. Knowing that you're that you have control, energetically being aware of putting protection around yourself. The third one is calling in for help. And again, this is kind of like a belief system type thing, isn't it? And whether you're like, you have spiritual beliefs or even religious beliefs, if you can trust that there are unseen energies, unseen beings, unseen things that are literally there to help you, but you have to ask for it, because we all have free will. And it goes back to this whole, you are in control, you have dominion over here in this earth plane, and nobody can interfere with you. It goes back to that. It also means that the good things, the good beings, can't help you if you don't ask for their help, because they need your permission to help you. So if you can even slightly believe that there are other things out there that are willing to help you, call on them, whatever that looks like, whether it's like you said, angels, spirit guides, just you want to call it the universe, that's fine, God, you know, if you're religious, like whoever, you know, whoever you want, use your belief system to call on that thing and help you. And I promise you, you will notice a difference. Like I fully believe that there are beings that are helping us. Like I believe there are angels and spirit guides, and whether they look like angels with wings and whatever, it doesn't matter. Like. I don't care. I don't care what they are. I trust that there are things there that help me, because I've experienced it. And you know, I'll call on the angels to come and help me, protect me and shoo away whatever this horrible energy is. And it works. It works every time. And you can't protect. Again, this helps you with this intention, because when you are trusting that you've got angels stood outside your children's door, and you've got a bubble of protection wrapped around your house, that is your way of strengthening your intention. And your intention is everything. I can't stress it enough. Your intention is everything. So even if they weren't there, the fact that you trust that they were there and you're using that as your intention to have strength will work. So whether you believe in them being there or not, it's still going to work if you can trust and use it, kind of go there. And then the next one I would just say is tell them again, F off. Like literally, that's what I do. I had the last experience I had where I was actually trying to help someone. Someone, I was told someone had something attached to them that wasn't very nice. And that I could get rid of it. And so I did this whole kind of thing where again, it's all intention. I was like, get off of this person. I also gave them a crystal, a tourmaline. Crystal, black tourmaline crystal, and said put that by your bedside, that's protection as well. And that night I had an energy sweep into my room. It was horrible, and it was so angry. It was so angry at me. I knew it was that thing that was attached to that person, and it was pissed off at me. And I felt it come in the room, and again I had that feeling that wasn't mine come over me, and I was like, oh, but right, this time I'm ready for your mush. And I employed all the tactics that we've just talked about. I called in all the big guns. I used some pretty foul language. And honestly, I went from feeling even though I felt in control, I was still terrified. But even though I felt that, I managed to do all of this stuff, and it went from feeling that to gone. Within a second, I felt so awful, so terrified, so all this anger and hate and darkness, and then it was just gone. And I just turned over and I went to sleep. And as I did it, I was like, I can't believe that, because I can't believe I'm turning over and going to sleep, because I would have spent the whole night being terrified. I got it gone within
Yeah.
seconds, and I feel so powerful.
Yeah.
I feel so in control. And also, it then solidifies your belief that there are things there that are the beings there that are helping you, and that you actually truly are in control. And you're like, wow, I'm actually really powerful, and I don't need to be scared of this stuff.
No.
I really don't. It's there, but I don't need to be scared of it.
That's right. And then that can change everything, can't it?
Yeah, because like you said, then by embracing that, I was also able to embrace the fact that there are lovely things out there that can help me, that I can connect with.
Yeah.
And also, you know, not so scared if I was to wake up and feel your child's footsteps. Yeah. Because again, like you said with your story about your brother-in-law, you know, you could still say now to those children that weren't being aggressive, it wasn't a horrible energy, but hey, I don't like you coming to wake me up in the middle of the night. This is my sleep time. You need to leave tonight. Come back in the day, and I'll be willing to talk to you. So that's the kind of stuff you can do, you know. Like even now, like with my mum, you know, I would do anything for my mum to appear. I have seen her, like in the early days, I saw her in my bedroom. She was it was wispy, and I was kind of like half awake, half asleep. I saw her, but I haven't ever seen her. She's never appeared to me and kind of just been there. No, but I would do anything to have that. However, there have been a few times in the middle of the night where I've woken up and I've been like, I've actually said, "Oh, Mum, I don't want to see you right now. It's dark, and I just don't feel like I could have you appear at the end of my bed. I think that might be a bit too much for me tonight." You know what I mean? So like, it's fine. You can say it to the loving and the kind energies as well. And again, I suppose this is important for people out there who are listening that potentially do have really strong psychic abilities and do see spirits and do feel energies. If you're experiencing it at times when you really don't want to be having it, you know, and it's not necessarily scary, but it's just like keeping you awake, or it's just not convenient for you to be bombarded by these things at nighttime. Tell them. You get to set the boundaries. Say, remember, they don't have time. They're just on. They're constantly on. There's no time where they are, so they don't know. They don't care that you're sleeping. They're like, hey, we got a message for you.
That's right.
We know that you can hear us. Yeah. Can you listen to us? Because we really need to go and tell our loved one this, and this. But you can say, no, I have opening hours. You know, like, don't contact me when I'm asleep. Don't contact me when I'm in bed in the middle of the night. Come to me when I'm in meditation, or come to me when I'm being quiet in the day, and you can set those boundaries, and they will respect them. And also, crystals are great as well. Black tourmaline is a lovely protective crystal to have by your bedside if you are getting bothered by not very nice things. And I say that's probably the best. That's the best one, really. Don't have if you're highly psychic, don't have amethyst next to you, because that's an opening up one, and that can help you to contact stuff.
Right. Yeah. So Harry's got that under his pillow.
Oh, okay. Rose gold, rose quartz. He's
got that as well.
Yeah, maybe amethyst might not be the best.
Yeah. I thought that was protection.
No. Amethyst is like calm, peaceful, but it's also actually a highly psychic one. Right. Okay. So it opens you up. It's good to meditate with.
Okay.
Take that out of his pillow.
Try and pinch that back.
Yeah.
Might explain his lucid dreams that he's been having.
Oh, honestly, if I want to have some crazy dreams, I'll put amethyst under my pillow.
Better tell him that.
Yeah. Remove that. But anyway, I hope that this has been a different episode, hasn't it? But again, like,
I love a ghost story though.
Yeah, and I think the whole point of this podcast is we're talking about everything, isn't it? It's like the unseen world, the subconscious mind, the psychology, the spirituality. It's like a whole blend and a mix, and I think that this can help you be your best you in so many ways, understanding this, because I think a lot of people that will be listening to this podcast are going to be sensitive. Just the nature of people that are going to be attracted to this will probably be quite sensitive to energy. You may have been having or had experiences like this in the past, or now at the moment. And I know for myself, understanding this facing the fear that I had about these energies and these feelings and these experiences that I was having that I was trying to tell myself weren't real was denying a part of me. It was denying who I was. And when I addressed it, and when I experienced it in this new way, when I realized I had the power, that realized the forces that are around me helping me, all of these things.
That's right.
It actually helped me as a person in my normal in inverted commas life, because it helped me acknowledge the gifts that I have. Like this stuff that I was trying to say wasn't real, these sensitivities that I have for picking up energy, I can use in my real life. I use it in my work now. Like my intuition and my sensitivities of being able to read people, it's like a superpower in my work. If I hadn't have addressed this, I would never have been able to do that in my work. It's helped in my relationships, because I now, and just being with people, random people, like all these things that I was picking up about people that I would just shrug off and think, no, you don't know that, that's not real. They're like, that's my gut telling me. I use that now. It's really powerful. I know what people are thinking. I know what people are feeling, and I can trust it now and use it to help me, to help them, and to help me just live a better life. And to acknowledge like my intuition and then build self-belief in myself. And also just getting rid of this fear of this. That's a really big thing as well,
how can you go on a spiritual journey and be afraid of spirits?
Yes.
Which is what my problem was. So once I wasn't afraid anymore, it all opened up for me. It's such a, you can embrace it all. Every part of it then. But you can't have a spiritual journey, can you?
No,
if you're afraid of seeing or feeling something, because that's exactly what you're calling in when you're meditating, when you're soul searching, when you're channeling something and you want answers. You're calling in the energy, aren't you?
Yes, wise words. Wise words. I love that, and it's so true. So again, it might seem a bit random, maybe to some, but there is actually really a serious point. And this is a massive part of our journey in all areas and aspects of our life. It affects every aspect of your life, not just the kind of spiritual journey part of your life. So with that being said...
we'd love to hear everybody else's stories, please.
Yes.
Please.
Yes. This is fun. Like, come share your ghostly stories or experiences or just anything with us in our Facebook community group. It is a safe space. Like, it's full of like-minded people sharing these stories, so you don't have to be scared of being judged. You're like in a place where we're all the same. Like, we're all having these experiences, and by sharing them we can talk about them and validate them. And again, it just goes towards building that self-trust, building up your intuition, which is invaluable in life, in every area, in your relationships, in your personal life, in business, parenting. It's so important to have your intuition. So please come and share your stories with us. It's fun, but it's also actually really great for personal growth and self-development. Yes, I'm thinking if there's anything else. Obviously, if you love the show, please do share it with others. And we would love to hear as well any ideas for episode that you would like us to do. Anything you'd like us to talk about, speak on, anything you'd like to hear about, please let us know, because we would love to have, answer your questions and have your ideas. I think that's it, isn't it?
That's it.
Yeah, lovely.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Excellent. How long has it been? Oh my gosh, it's nearly been an hour.
Has it? It's a good one.
All right, everybody, take care.
Thanks
and we
for
will
listening.
speak to you very soon.
Bye.
Bye.